All right, welcome to Salty Saturdays, everyone. I'm glad you guys could be here. We have two great matches today. We haven't been on Salty Saturdays for kind of a while for the break and everything. Getting back into it, and with me to take you through all the action is Dr. Fish and Robopson. Hey guys.
Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing?
Hello, everybody.
It's good to be back. I think I'm on the first stream back for both Friday and Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah, looks like it. All right.
You guys want to
So-
set up the matches? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I can. So, this first match is going to be a Legacy 5 seed match from the Gold Conference. We're going to have a bite-sized AC subbing in for HMP's Golden Showers and Mighty Biz going for Illidan's Death Knights. We have classes Druid, Hunter, Paladin, Rogue for bite-sized, and Mage, Paladin, Warlock, Warrior for Mighty Biz. So definitely a bunch of contrasting classes. The only class similar being Paladin.
Yep.
The match currently pretty close at 8-5.
And notably, Mighty Biz doesn't have Rogue.
Yeah, no Rogue.
Usually in this meta, we've still got, what was it, 9 more days
Mhm.
of just bring Rogue in every match. So Mighty Biz has probably made bite-sized AC's ban a little bit easier there. Is you'd expect it to be Rogue. So
Yeah.
it does look like their teammates on Agent P's Golden Showers, they've both been battling Paladin so far. So maybe they got. Oh, wait, no, sorry. I'm looking
No,
at the
they've
wrong
all
side.
banned Rogue. They've all banned Rogue. Yeah, the other
It's
side hasn't been
actually-
banning it.
It's actually Mighty Biz's teammates have all been banning Paladin when there's a Rogue there. So they obviously been planning something. Looks like it didn't go too well for Jessbean, who got swept by Turtle. But Raptor HS did win 3-1 against Pace. I don't believe there's been another match which has happened yet in
Earl,
this...
Earl 3, Earl swept Kiwi, so it's 8-5.
Ooh, so this is a big one on
And there was
the
a mage
emergency sub.
Yeah, and Earl banned Mage in that matchup when Kiwi
So-
had Rogue.
Looks like IDK they don't respect Rogue. They don't respect Rogue at all.
I suppose,
Interesting.
yeah.
What is going on there? Maybe we'll see some spicy techs. Maybe they're trying to target something.
Perhaps.
Though with that Warlock there for Mighty Biz, that makes the whole trying to target a rogue if it is a poison one somewhat difficult.
So
Agreed.
The bans did just come in.
Sure.
Mighty Biz has banned the Rogue as expected, and Bite Size
Okay.
has banned Paladin.
Yes. As I probably would have expected. Yeah.
Yep, makes sense with that hunter there for bite size AC. We're probably going to see some fairly aggressive stuff on their side. Faced hunter, Beast Druid, Paladin their own, and rogue of some kind.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see what Mighty Biz might have with that mage. You thinking Mizaki or Ping?
I don't know much about Mighty Biz. If he has learned Mozaki Mage as a 5C, that is a very useful tool to have, as that deck can just do amazing things. I would expect something more of a hero power mage, but we will see. I would guess it's something like hero power mage. Quest warrior is pretty much the only warrior deck unless you have a very specific strategy in mind to bring
Yeah.
something like a big or control warrior, and then generally it's
Ooh,
hand
big
block.
warrior. I haven't
Well,
seen a big warrior in a hot minute.
me neither. Last time was end parts of last season. It was sparse,
Yeah,
but
it popped up a lot last meta. Interesting to see
yeah,
what's going to. So, Fish, while we're
yeah.
waiting for the players to get started, gone through the
Mhm.
decks, what do you think the nerfs are going to be? Any predictions?
I would expect. I haven't looked at if there's a specific list of how many cards and what classes. I would suspect we're seeing some form of Null and Shadowcrafter Scabs, Wild Palm Null,
Sure.
Shadowcrafter Scabs. Probably, maybe. I don't know if you want to nerf both, but you probably could, and it would be fine because those cards are very strong. Um, I there is supposed to be a wild specific ban, and we might be able to get into that in the second match. But yeah, I kind of expect Rogue to get tuned if they're maybe if you're gonna do that, you also want to touch potentially Kurtrus, the Demon Hunter hero card, as it's very strong. But I
Oh,
generally think that Rogue, I think that tuning Rogue is gonna be the goal of this patch.
yeah, I'd expect to see Null, Scabs, possibly Druid in some way.
Oh, maybe yeah.
We are
Druids.
in the match now, I believe.
Okay.
Oh, while we're nattering on, let's get into it.
Mhm.
I believe we're going to be seeing bite-sized AC on the bottom, and we'll have Mighty Diz on the top. Let's get to it.
All right, we've got Paladin versus Warlock. So graciously waiting for us to spectate. They have not made their turn one play yet.
Nope, we did miss the mulligans, but we're getting into it, and
Good
it's
hand
pretty
here
straightforward
for
so
bite
far.
size. Good hand for bite sized
Not a
AC.
terrible hand for Mighty Biz either.
No, it's not.
With the hand lock, we see the backfire, we see the Anetheron, and it's just giving me a case
Oh
of
yeah, that is an Anetheron. It's pretty good.
getting the early removal. If they can find a Null, they'd probably prefer that over the Anetheron, but you're never too sad to see Anetheron.
True.
If they could maybe see a tour guide to go backfire, coin, tour guide on 3, let them bring Anetheron down on 4 quite nicely.
Mhm.
But Bite Size AC is just going to be curving out pretty nicely here.
Yeah, I would expect to see the hand of a doll in an attack. Getting the early Lightforged Cariel is also very useful in this matchup. Being able to play that on 7. There is a possibility this deck could have a
Whoa.
Ooh, so Mighty Biz not liking that wants to just get rid of it with a coin full blown evil, which will delay the Anetheron coming out, which could be pretty a bit unfortunate in the match to not get that Anetheron out as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And now
So,
there is
I
reload
mean,
for this Paladin.
yeah, so there's very much a pro and a con for that particular play.
Sure.
So the pro is obviously kind of saying, my hand is pretty slow. I want to stop this Paladin from snowballing quite as fast.
Yeah.
Well, it hasn't quite worked because they did have the dream follow-up, the Stoneheart Vindicator.
Yeah.
But the con is with the cards like Anetheron, Flesh Giant, needs to be doing damage, needs to be drawing cards, needs to be getting the quest going, and that is a null, which is playable with the life tap on the following turn, but with this Libra and Wisdom and the Noble Mount in hand, probably just going to see bite-sized AC load up on this Vindicator, hit in the face for 7 for Divine Shield.
Very
Will
tough
get
to
answered
play
by
with.
this second full-blown evil quite nicely, but still leaves that 1/1 Divine Shield, which can have another Libram go onto it.
Yeah, and
And
I think seeing the second full blown evil early can kind of almost allows Bite Size to have a little bit more to play with. We're only going to see the single noble mount, no Libram of Wisdom used. Gonna get a hero power weaved in there. Use the mana, I guess, pretty efficiently there. So we have, I believe that's a Altar of Fire draw for Mighty Biz. Is he gonna rip the altar? Okay,
Yeah.
he is. Oh,
Yeah.
burns Mr. Smite and a Devout Pupil as well.
Both
Wow,
about pupils actually.
both
Those were some
pupils. That
fantastic burns
wow,
for Mighty Biz.
that altar was was very strong. It did burn both tour guides and the second backfire for Mighty Biz though. So I'd say I would say it's almost about equal about how much that affected both players.
Yeah, the real downside is with those tour guides and the backfire gone. Yes, the burning 3 cards did get Mighty Biz close to activating the Bristleback and the Baron Scavenger in their hand. However,
Yes.
without that tour guide and those backfires, it's going to take them a while longer to artificially draw into them. And this quest is making some pretty slow progress so far. Only 5 out of 8 of the first
Part.
And Truth Seeker, pretty nice to pick up.
That
I
is a
imagine
nice
we're going to be seeing all face.
I would imagine it sets Mighty Biz to 9, and I think Truth Seeker just to kind of hold it down, and it doesn't obviously it doesn't set up maybe we go with the broom here and try to set up a lethal play here. You just trade that in, you go face with everything else, you're sitting with lethal on board.
Yeah, I mean, Carriel was always coming down on 7 though.
Agree. Yeah, Lightforge Carriel is coming down. Yeah.
And Mighty Biz needs to do something here. The Raised Deads here are free.
They are.
Well, the first one is.
The first one is free, you're right. He's gonna tap first. Hopefully, I would have liked to have seen a Raised Dead first, I think, just because it triggers the quest, and now you're going pretty far over your next step of the quest, and he's not at 10 cards for that tap to activate the Bristleback to heal.
Yeah, so possibly what we'd like to see there is the Raised Dead. You get 1 Null into hand, you drop it down, you kill the 4/1, then you can play another Raised Dead. It's going to get you 2 Nulls.
And you can try and do a lot of clearing there. Yeah. And now it just looks like this one for game 1 is probably going to go to bite-sized AC now. Yeah.
Yep, doesn't even need this Lightforge Carriel.
Oh.
Just going to get it on board. There you go. And that is first game to bite-sized AC.
Yep.
And remember, with the context of this series, it is 8-5 to IDK. So if AC can get a sweep here, it'll put them right back in it.
Yeah.
And in the context of Agent P's Golden Showers, they are currently 0-3 this season.
They're really
they need a big week win. And if they could get this win from bite-sized AC, their last player to play is Nails, and that's a good last player to have.
Definitely. Agreed. Nails is a very good player.
Yep, as I found out today in my pro match.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
Didn't go too well.
I saw some of the replays. It was quite close. I'm pretty sure, right?
Oh yeah, it came down to. It ultimately came down to Conquest queue order.
Yeah.
I managed to land my bad matchup in game 5. It turns out Fell Demon Hunter into Big Beast Hunter is a really terrible matchup. But let's get into game 2 because this is
it's
Control Warrior.
It's a Control Warrior against
Actually,
a Beast. It
could be Big Warrior. Technically,
wait, Cutting Class?
Yeah, Cutting Class leads me to think it's more in line with a Control Warrior, maybe running like a small pirate package with the Sword Eater, or maybe it's just to go with the axe, which we do
they're running an axe. Okay. And there's our good friend Big Mute. in the
Old
hand.
big mute. Oh, and it's Cthulhu Control
Ooh.
Warrior at that.
Oh, this is greedy.
I love it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, for Bite Size, he's running a Beast Druid deck. It looks like this is a pretty good opening. Mm, I mean, you could put out the. I guess like you didn't see a quest on one, so you're probably like, what warrior is this? And then have to decide between Druid of the Reef and Peasant, and chooses to coin out the Peasant.
Does
It's
extend somewhat into either of these removals.
Minefield. Yeah, either removal. Yeah.
Yeah, so the interesting thing is the 1/3 by itself would never trigger the minefield coming down.
Yeah.
Then
It's
the
the
following
it's the Peasant that did it there.
yeah, card draw is scary. We see a Rakara at the Valorous.
Yeah, we did.
Card that a lot of people predicted would be really good and really hasn't been.
Yeah. I think yeah, so turn 3 I just want to see Frostwolf Kennels come out. It's just get beasts on the board. It makes your matriarch cost less. And there's not a whole lot else that you can really play here.
Crucially, if you're thinking about what warrior is this, you've seen a minefield, you haven't seen a quest, you know it's some kind of controlling warrior.
And you've seen a
What card do every slow warrior play on 4? It's the axe. If you have a stealth minion, they can't draw a card.
Yep.
And that is going to be huge because the warrior doesn't run any card draw with no shield block besides the axe. So you don't want that to be drawing cards.
Yeah, and take some time to consider some lines and ends up with the Frostwolf Kennels. So stealth 2/2's coming on the board every turn for the next 3 turns. Well, next 2 ones after this one. Outrider's Axe slammed by Mighty Viz.
Yeah, the axe is always coming down.
Yeah, and there's Moonlight Guidance. Oh,
so
you could definitely take it kind of slow here.
Yeah, this is a take it slow game, especially with the Oracle of Elune there. You want that to be getting some value, hopefully with a composting as well.
Yeah.
To make sure that when Bite Size he does develop a big board, it's in like Oracle, double Matriarch, maybe double Umbral Owl composting. Load up, make it so that
okay, we got the
Matriarch
cost. All right, Matriarch costs 4. I guess at this point, he doesn't want to let the draw happen, and it is going to cost 3 now. I might have wanted to play the. I think there was I guess because of the warrior deck, I'm a little hesitant to maybe have just. I might have just thrown out the sentries because of Arbor Up. All right, we're getting closer to the goal of getting nice board.
Yeah, I think I like where Bite Size is going with this. There was a small. They did miss the attack with the hero power the previous turn.
Okay.
I think because they were thinking, I don't want to release the stealth. They just forgot to make that attack, and they didn't want to play the Sentinels, the sentries, because Rancor will just.
Oh, true. Rancor would ruin their day. Yeah, you're right.
So they've got a decent Arbor Up here.
Yeah, I like Arbor here.
We're probably going to see, I think it'll be on turn 7, the Oracle Matriarch composting play I was talking about.
Yeah.
So they could just play the Arbor Up here. Gonna play the Guidance.
How much? I don't know how much Owl's gonna cost, but we do take the second Arbor here. All right, he is really taking it slow. Wants to make a nice big swing turn here. Yeah, it's not bad at all. Really gonna hold on to these Arbors. There's gonna be now 3 possibilities to play, or 3 Arbor Ups to play with right now. But Minefield's gonna clean up 2 of these minions potentially. Actually, was guaranteed.
Ooh, and Guff. Right, so Guff generally means we will see a Ivus somewhere in this deck.
That is true. That does signify Ivus.
So if we're seeing this go slow, I want to see Guff come down. That would be in line with everything Bite Size ATC's been doing thus far.
Yeah, Guff and then like you could just hero power essentially for like a mana or a draw, whichever he thinks. At this point, you probably want to be chunking through your. You might probably want to be trying to go through your deck.
Yeah, mana isn't too relevant. You probably want to be using that hero power to just draw cards at this point.
Yeah, agreed.
Of course, we're not saying that this is that's necessarily correct, but it's good to see that Blast ACC is their game plan is very consistent. They want to take this long and kind of grind the control rate out of resources, abusing the fact that they don't really have much in the way of card draw, and they're very much sticking to that right now. The Body of Cthulhu is a pretty good pickup.
Here's Mutinous. It eats the owl. It dodges the Matriarch.
And the Oracle.
And the Oracle for sure. The Oracle might have been a bigger hit.
I think I'd say the Owl was the best hit from Bite-Sized ACU's perspective.
Yes, for sure.
And we're gonna see something happen here.
Yeah. We're gonna see a Moonlight Guidance. Ooh.
Arbor up yet again.
You could take Arbor here for sure, and you'll have another, and you can even just play it to draw your other one potentially. I might want to take Nature Studies because you already have 2 Arbors in your hand, right? I think that's, and Nature Studies can be kind of anything. Do you think Arbor is the better pick here?
Getting to play 4 Arbor ups in one game is really nice. Soul of the Forest is a fantastic card against Control Warrior.
Smart Spike Shell, which isn't okay.
Oh, not playing it on the Matriarch.
Not gonna wait to make another Matriarch. Okay, we have a tradable now. We're gonna gain some mana, and we're gonna throw out the Thorn Growths. It looks like. No, we're gonna hold. Okay.
Right. So
a lot happened there.
Yeah, a great deal happened there, and maybe a little bit of panic set in. What I would have liked to have done would have been take the Soul of the Forest and just really set up for a humongous Oracle turn.
Yeah, you can even go. I'd like to almost go for an Oracle here, potentially.
Yeah,
you have a lot of mana to work with because you can play all of this stuff, and then I think. Can you Arbor plus composting plus Matriarch? Mana.
Yeah, something does need to be played.
Yes.
Crucially, as Bite-Sized AC is now getting a bit behind the board. Big Mute's going to start chunking away for 8 every turn without attacking.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got to disconnect.
All right, well, they're back. Whoever disconnected was very short. I go for mana here. Here we go.
Here comes the Oracle.
Oracle comes in. Alright, so we're also going to go for... It looks like we're going to go for all of this plus an Arbor up here, which will allow us to remove the 6/6 on board.
Yep. Lovely. And there's no brawl.
Yeah, I was going to say notably... I was just going to say notably with this play, there is no brawl. So...
Yeah. Is the Shield Shadow, which...
good.
Does
Clears everything.
Full clear.
That's quite good for the warrior. Now, those resources. I mean, there's still another combo in the works eventually. Notably, there was no composting played that turn, so that whole board went down without a single draw coming back.
Yes.
Which I know probably would have ended up overdrawing. Probably guess the way to Cold Mine here.
Yeah, Cold Mine's either draws an owl or a Matriarch, which is pretty fantastic. I'm looking here at something like Solar Eclipse, Best in Shell, Peasant composting.
That would make a lot of sense. All right, we're gonna go
Uh,
for
s-
Guess the Weight, and we're gonna
the
take
two,
more Get a Thorn Growth.
yeah,
This. There's still enough mana to make that specific play that you didn't mention without, unfortunately, being able to play the Peasant with it.
I think the thing I'd like to see the most would be, well, it just has to have compost in it. Doesn't look like that is gonna happen here.
Yeah,
Having seen one big AoE clear, kind of saying, well, you don't have another one.
yeah, agreed. We're gonna get some fishing for it. There's a Blade Storm. Blade Storm pretty unfortunately pretty much not gonna do a whole lot here. The 8-2 probably can just clear off the 3-8 taunt. You just don't want to worry about that. But this
Yep.
is gonna be a
And
lot of damage coming back.
yeah, Kargath plus the weapon can deal with another 2/7.
Yeah. Which notably would allow for an extra draw.
Yeah. And then if they're worried, they can equip the bulwark, say you're not going to do too much damage to me this turn, though they are at 38 health. Utilize a shield slam to deal with one more 2/7 if they think that it's scary enough, or if they feel like they're not really under threat, they can just drop Crash. There you go.
Yep.
So let's see what Mighty Biz is thinking. A few ways they can take it now.
It's gonna go Crash, yeah.
So one really important thing that I guess to think about, so anyone who plays some kind of slow warrior doesn't need to think about, is the dangers of playing Bulwark when you have Crash on the board. Because it will overwrite Bulwark, and it will also overwrite the Unstoppable Force from Rikara. So don't have a good weapon equipped if Crash is on the board.
Definitely. And from Bite-Size perspective, I think you should just start by drawing a card here.
Oh, absolutely. Got 30 mana to play with.
Yeah. It's tempting to kind of just make a play and go with this Arbor up right away, potentially. Composting, yeah. But if we drew and we could have drawn into like something like a Matriarch, I think that would have been pretty strong. Because Matriarch, or even something like a Loon to make more of something. There's Speaker Gidra, so I guess that's a good, pretty good play here. We're gonna go for the Arbor probably here, I would assume. No, we're gonna leave Gidra up without playing. Never mind, we're gonna play that. Okay.
Whoa, was that double composting?
That's a double composting. If this gets cleared, a lot of decks gonna get burned.
Yeah, that's the entire deck drawn.
Actually, yeah, that's fatigue. Yeah, all this needs is a clear, and that there's no brawl, fortunately. But like Maw of Cthulhu, you can start chipping away at these minions and forcing a lot of draw, and there's 6 cards left in deck only, so 3 minions down is the rest of the deck drawn.
Yeah.
Which
I think what Biz could have done there would be use the Maw of Cthulhu to actually kill the 1/1. Use the Blade Storm. It would kill these 2 Ironguard turtles.
Yes.
And then using the weapon, would be able to kill this 1/3. All that would be left would be the Speaker Gidra. It does have Wind Fury, but it's not that intimidating. And a 2/5. Also,
yeah,
hugely intimidating.
But now, like, even though now the fatigue is being drawn into, honestly, there is enough here for this druid to kind of be able to force the issue because of the multiple Arbor ups plus a solar eclipse. So I don't know how much damage this is, but it's gonna be quite a lot. I might have liked to see a Matriarch come down before just to be buffing a Matriarch, but I guess we want that extra reload. So this is not bad at all. That's a lot of damage. I don't think it's completely lethal, but it's definitely...
It is a lot, and that is the argument for killing as many things as possible. The Adorable Infestation could have done 1 extra damage by going on the Speaker Gidra there.
Yes.
But, doesn't
There's
Really?
you're gonna have to trade
bad.
into a brawl here, right?
Yes.
Blade Storm doesn't quite do enough because Gidra will still be alive. Could now at this point you probably you might even want to get your crush weapon and then just then honestly just try and get the bulwark out afterwards. You don't want to overwrite your bulwark, but yeah, you want
Yeah.
to make
The
sure.
awful thing is because Kargath, it has 2 health and it
Oh
can't
yeah,
trade into a minion. It
you're right.
really screws the Blade Storm.
It does hurt the Blade.
Heart of Cthulhu.
Heart of Cthulhu, that's a card that helps. A little bit.
Would have
Not too
liked
much,
to
a little bit. No cards notably drawn for bite size here, and Gidra's still alive. And there's no chance for a brawl. So only a little bit done, and that's game. There is nothing left to be done here for the Warrior.
Nope. They can't make enough cards drawn. Fatigue.
Nope. Cannot induce lethal withdrawal. What a wild game that was. That was
Yeah, so that was pretty interestingly played from Mighty Biz.
yeah.
Like it there are a couple turns here and there that I would maybe have done. I wasn't. I think the double composting did give them some avenues for some kind of weird overdraw lethal when they could see their opponent didn't really have anything going on, and they did kind of generate a game plan pretty early, and they did stick to it all the way through, which was pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
And the Guff really let them do some pretty crazy stuff in the late game. Solar Eclipse, Arbor Up is pretty nuts. But gonna be
a Face Hunter versus a Warlock. So this, I mean, on paper, this matchup is Hunter favored. So we might
quite
see
Hunter favors.
Yeah, the Warlock really has to turbo to 10 cards in hand, but doing that means drawing a lot and probably taking a lot of damage.
Yes, and also getting that early removal. Like, it was an interesting part of Mighty Biz's first game where we didn't really see anything like Drain Soul, Touch of the Nathrezim, none of that early game removal. They just had their big stuff.
Yeah.
And again, what we're seeing is all of that big stuff.
Yes.
That is a Touch of the Nathrezim.
I personally probably would have. All right, so we're gonna see it coined out. There's a chance that you could be because of the tour guide on 2. I think I would have just played only touch and then just gone for quest tour guide on 2. I think
or touch coin tour guide.
Yeah, something like that.
This is the interesting thing. That was a fantastic draw. Okay, now we can see a Ultra Fire come down alongside the tour guide tap. Just fills up the mana, helps Mighty Biz get a bit closer to that elusive 10 card mark. But the null isn't the draw. Biz wants to be seeing cards in their hand which would actually benefit playing the Ultra Fire before they just let it rip. They want to see Bristlebacks, they want to see Baron Scavengers, they want to see anything along those lines.
Yeah, I
we
think
might just see an aim shot go to the face.
I'm honestly thinking you just take the same shot, go face. It's fortunate for Bite Size because his hand, even with the removal of that, like, was able to draw essentially 3 transitional cards into kind of fully getting your hand filled up again with the Warsong Wrangler for a Rhino or a Wolper, very likely.
Well, gets burned.
Scavenger, Initiate. Slinger, Flesh Giant versus Initiate, Wolpertinger, Og Merchant.
So Mighty Biz pretty sad to see a Baron Scavenger and a Shadowblade Stinger go. Interesting. Okay. They've let rip with the aim shot. floating a
I
mana and not
I
playing Warsong Wrangler and drawing Rhino.
yeah,
And there's a
I
tour guide on the board.
I agree. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I can see the reasoning for the game plan because his hero power is doing a lot of damage. I think he's gonna just drop the Kodo. He probably just drops the Kodo Bane here.
Or we could say there's no way that Mighty Bits has Soul Rend, Warsong Wrangler. Oh
for
wait, no, the
Warsong
Wolpertinger
Wrangler for
did get
Wolper.
burnt. The Wolpertinger got
Yeah,
burnt, so that will
yeah.
not work.
Oh, you're right. But we see full spells come into hand. But there's notably there's no quick shot there. This Warlock has an opportunity to potentially, with the way that this is going, to potentially maybe not have that much to worry about. There's no board for this hunter and we can see it in Mighty Biz can't that there's no direct damage to face left in bite-sized hand other than a big hero power. So I'm curious to see how this is gonna play out. I really want to see I really want to see
Nothing like
this Wrangler dropped.
yes, I need to see this Wrangler come down. It's
Yeah, it's so good.
Yep,
You
get
just
that
get
Rhino
free,
into
you
hand.
get big Rhino. You can throw
and
the
get
hero
that
power.
6 damage hero power. Like
Yep.
it's been going well for Mighty Biz, but they are still down to 10.
Yes.
And they probably need to double trade this board because they now know that these 1 health minions are gonna be a bit of a hindrance for them.
Yep. So what a potential it's I know you're gonna overdraw a lot doing that. I would say maybe Dreadlish Tamsin, but I think trading Alf is fine here. Gonna play a Flesh Giant. That is quite a big boy. Is there there is no Battlegrounds Battlemaster here. Second Scavenger's Burns, Raise That Burned. Okay. The only burn I might be upset about from the Hunter side is the Renling's rifle, because rifle's quite good.
And the second quick shot.
Yeah. Second quick shot as well, you're right, because that's less damage that can go face.
Yeah, I think what's going to be crucial for AC is, well, the first thing is every turn, hero power needs to happen.
Yeah, I think he might want to go dog. I think he's probably considering Doggy Biscuit on it now. I mean, might have to, but could also just hero power, but then you lose your Rhino and you don't kill it.
So with the Rhino, the hero power is not happening, and it's probably Doggy Biscuit as that makes it a 9/9, which does trade fairly nicely into this Flesh Giant. Could also just use the Adora Infestation to make sure kill it off and drop the Wolpertinger or the Trog.
Yeah.
But I think I prefer the Doggy Biscuit.
Agreed. Notably, there's I'll say we're at 10 cards in deck, so there is no 1 mana 6/6s, but there are bristlebacks in deck.
There are piggies.
There are 2 piggies in deck.
Piggies come down.
This is where it gets tough for the hunter to actually win. Because now with these 3/3s, they're gonna start healing and all these other things. This quick shot probably no longer goes face. It probably has to trade into a 3/3. I mean, I'm not 100. I don't know. This is a tough part of the matchup. We're gonna see Trog at least, so maybe big board of Trogs can do it.
Yeah, but it says I see is just going in.
Yeah, really. All right, well, that's a pretty good hit. The 1/2 is, I mean, I'm fond of this Warlock. That 1/2 has Soft Taunt, but drew the touch of the Nathrazim.
But this full blown evil's gonna do some work.
Yeah, 8 mana.
Or this Tamsin.
Actually, Tammy, yeah, Dreadlish Tammy is a full clear, right? Yeah, that's devastating for this hunter. Now there's armor. Damage is being pushed.
3/3's being drawn.
3/3's being summoned.
Yep, this looks like it's gonna be lights out for the
hunter
here.
Yep. Yeah, I can even go for another 3/3 potentially. Notably, there's only 9 cards in hand. So next turn, a Nethron will cost 1.
All Mighty Biz really needs to do at this point is just send everything on the board face for 2 turns in a row, and
Essentially, yeah.
that's it.
This
They've
hunter
got
doesn't.
Battlegrounds Battlemaster, so lethal is on the board.
Oh yeah, there's a BGBM in hand. Yeah.
And
I
they're
think
not.
I think he's gonna trade the doggy biscuit and trade the 1/1 into the 5/1.
I imagine so.
I might even be considering playing Randing Mount on it, honestly. Ooh, there's Warsong. Okay, so there's still 1 Rhino in deck, so that'll be a 9/7 Rhino. It's taken here potentially.
Hungry, aren't ya?
Quickly.
So that shut off lethal for 1 more turn, but yep, Anithron is playable now. Another piggy comes into hand. Very
Yeah.
wisely. Looks like we might not be seeing the Anethron.
Oh, I would have liked this. I think you can still play it here. Yeah. Okay.
And probably just going to see a pass here. There is nothing that Mighty Biz needs to do at this point to win this game besides this.
Yeah, that's all he
It's
needs.
a very wise. Again, we're probably going to see a trampling rhino, ramming mount, kill something. But with the BGBM in hand, it's not going to make any difference.
Agreed. He's not even gonna go after the. Okay, he's just gonna do as much damage as he realizes he's dead. So he's just gonna get as much damage out, and we'll either see a pass or a concede. He opts to pass. So Mighty Biz will get to just make 2 attacks and win the game.
Yeah, so that is. Is that
It's a 2/1 currently.
2
So
1
Bite Size just has to get this hunter through. He has 2 wins.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yes.
Yeah, so with a face hunter there, I imagine that this control warrior is going to get another run out now. Because this is the matchup you want to hit with it.
Yeah. So let's see. Mighty Biz is left with warrior, and then he has mage.
Yeah, now the mage is the question mark into this hunter, obviously.
It is. So that's why we haven't seen it yet. I assume you're right. We'll see this control warrior come out, as it's quite a good matchup into hunter. I'm gonna do a quick lookup of various. I know Mozaki into face hunter is pretty good for face hunter, but I want to look at it into ping mage. It is it's 50-50. Yeah, if ping mage gets their early clears and stuff like that, they can definitely do some work. If it's Mozaki, it's very favored for the hunter.
Rikara of the Horde, my least favorite warrior skin out of all of them.
Oh.
And look at this opening hand from Mighty Biz, even pre-Mulligan. See a Bladestorm, see a Brawl, see a Barov, see a Shield Slam. All the removal. None of the extra guff like Rikara or Mutinous. But all of it gets thrown away.
Oh man, I would have maybe just kept I would have kept Bladestorm there probably. Bladestorm's quite good.
We do see Minefield. We have seen Minefield and Man the Cannon, so they are better cast than Bladestorm. There's a lot of 1 health minions in this deck. It does pick up Shield Shatter with a heavy plate, which is it's going to do something at some point.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we see the early Demon Companion on 1 instead of Wolpertinger. I guess at this point it's probably just
you play the 2 health 2 costed minion on 2, not 2 health.
Well, both. But yeah, I might have considered hero power to push damage, but I guess getting the 4/2 on board is also very good.
Yeah, the second Rhino means
that's
that
so unfortunate.
Once the Wrangler comes into hand, with a Wolpertinger drawn as well, there's going to be one dead Wrangler.
Yeah.
And the warrior is not too likely to actually have minions to hit with the Rhino a lot of the time.
Yeah.
There's a Rancor as well, just adding to the amount of rule in this hand.
Yeah.
Might see a coin Karga kill this 3/4, lose the attack buff. They're actually just going to kill the 4/2 and minimize damage, it looks like. Nah, I much prefer this. It does
like this
allow for
more,
the
yeah.
trade back, but it makes a lot of sense with the Rancor pickup, keeping the number of 2 health minions on the board
More.
as high
Yeah.
as possible.
Yeah.
I just don't see a way that Bite-Sized AC can make this Rancor not hurt.
Yeah. Realistically, you trade. You can like make it so it only deals damage to 2 with the Guardian Aug Merchant. But realistically, it's still gonna get 4 armor for the warrior. Because you could like trade. You can like make the trade with the minion that doesn't take damage, and then you can like Aug Merchant the 3/1 after you Aug Merchant the 3/2 after you attack or something like that.
That's an upgrade. Probably.
Just to kind of go against that. But this Wolpertinger coming, if that Wolpertinger gets put out, we're going full face. This Rancor is going to be massive. It's going to be.
Oh, and
What,
it doesn't even take the
that's-
trade. So that Divine
And-
Shield's getting popped by Kargath.
And
And
then
then
we're
Rancor's
getting
coming
10
down.
armor. Yeah. Yep.
Yep, so now, now Shield Shatter is playable. Just from Rancor.
Yeah.
Without the heavy plate.
And
Of
it's
which there
0
are 2 in
mana.
hand.
Yes.
Bite-Sized AC has an aim shot and 2 rhinos.
That's so
and
unfortunate.
Biz is on
Yeah.
20 health.
Mhm.
If one of these heavy plates gets played, then it's
Yeah.
back up
There's a
to
heavy
30.
plate. Yep. 30 damage. Ramming mount. This is very unfortunate for the hunter.
Womp.
It's so weird. They have this. It's like the dynamics of these matchups. Like 30 health for both sides, but the warrior is never gonna lose them.
Yeah,
So it's
they've just got such better late game tools, and
Yeah.
anything Bite-Sized AC drops, we might see a Rhino just come down because
yeah. Rhino
Hero
gets
Power
cleared.
Pass isn't looking fantastic, but then the Maw of Cthulhu will deal with it,
Yeah.
and they can even just trade off a heavy plate, start looking for some other tools as well.
Agreed. Yeah. It's
So, game 5, this mage.
yeah, mage. It's gonna be interesting if it's a ping mage. Like we'll see. Couple of rough games here for Hunter. It's I feel like sometimes it can get in some. It definitely would get in my head if I had lost 2 games. I mean, I would have kind of expected to lose this matchup personally, but
This matchup is abysmal. Oh, of
really
course, that
bad.
cash is something to do for Biz.
had something to do, so we just do that. Hero power up. The hero power counteracting the Hunter hero power, as it's always done throughout Hearthstone history, is what helps his warrior not just
Essential.
die to pings.
Oh god, this is painful.
This really, yeah, it's unfortunate for, just for Bite-Sized in general. He is going to play the Trampling Rhino, so we'll have something for Shield Slam to target potentially.
Shield Slam, Maw of Cthulhu.
Maw, yeah. I mean, he probably just played Maw because it's a piece of Cthulhu, and so you get that 1 of 4.
Plus, it costs 5 instead of 1.
You're right. Yeah.
Get the most expensive card out of your hand. We might see the Axe Cutting Class come down next turn.
Yep.
This is one of those positions where it's very easy as a player to get somewhat demoralized because the position you are in is terrible.
Yeah. It's really, these types of situations are very rough.
I just concede.
I might have conceded on 6 when I saw that.
Like,
or if I wanted
there's
to
no-
deep
realistic
tilt.
chance.
Yeah. Like
There is an argument to staying in this game if you're in hero
yes.
and you are still you're
You're
scouting
fishing-
for information
yeah,
on
fishing
the
for
deck
info.
list. This deck hasn't been played again, so there's no point in having any more information about this deck.
Yeah.
The piercing shot stopping the quick shot from drawing is just, it just kind of epitomizes how this game has gone so far.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones where it's nothing really to do with. I don't know if Fights SAPC had the liberty of playing around that Rancor on 4.
I
They
don't
needed to
know
play the
either.
Wolpertinger at some point.
Yeah.
They just need to say, well, if you have it, I lose. And they
Yeah.
did have it.
Yeah.
And Mighty Biz is now on 34 health. Both Rhinos are played. Maybe a 2-1 go face, piercing shot, quick shot the face, draw some cards, but there are no combination of cards in this deck which will lead to a winning position here.
Yeah.
Vice SAC just going through the motions, playing all the cards out. Gets down to a 25 health total, picks up a Trog, which can't be played into this weapon.
Yeah. I mean, like at this point, Kodo Bane is something, but again, like you said, there's just no the amount of armor game this deck has. We see Crash,
Plus an armor vendor.
yeah, Crash and Vendor. Like it's just so much. Like now the Warriors actually starting to able to deal damage to the Hunter. Which, I mean, that's when it gets unfortunate. Now they have the same. Now they are sitting around the same health total, but yeah, it's quite.
Now the warrior is just going face with the axe because there's no
it didn't-
cards left.
There was no target, and even then, like I think I'd still go face because I have 6 damage and you have 5 per turn. He could go for the proc on Crash here, but I might have even just liked to see the Crash go face. I mean, you have a lot of resources in hand, and just 6 damage face is pretty good. But although obviously this deck doesn't care that much about it, it'll go face other turns. So now we'll see Armor Vendor.
I want to see a Templar Mutinous as a 4/4.
That would be fun.
There's never going to be a minion left in hand, so you may
Yeah.
as well just play it as a 4/4.
I
You
agree.
can still play the Armor Vendor and Hero Power, so you're not wasting any mana.
Yeah.
But, you know, your opponent's not going to concede, so you may as well just play your stuff.
Yeah.
Ugh. And this is why, once you reach this stage of the game, it's just miserable. You're drawing 1-drops, your opponent is drawing removal, big value bombs, all that kind of stuff. Intrepid Initiate, of which there is another one in the deck somewhere, isn't going to cut it.
Now I drop mute just to I would have dropped mute just to check if that was a minion or a spell, but realistically, I mean, at least we're gonna start seeing progress on the health being made. I would just go in with this attack. And I don't believe there's another weapon in hand currently, so
Warsaw Wrangler will draw a Wolpertinger, so that's something.
That is something indeed, at least.
But it will get met with Rancor.
Yeah,
Hungry, aren't ya?
because they'll only become 3/2s. So yeah.
We might see the Mutinous come down now, as
Probably. The Wolper is
Mighty
there.
Biz has the information that there is actually a minion in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not going to happen again.
Probably.
So let's say go. Looks like they're thinking about Shield Chatter. They have been hovering over it a fair bit. I just want to see Big Mute come down.
Big mute.
Big Mute. Big Mutes, big plays.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
Oh, did not eat the
Gets the
Wolper.
smaller one.
Yep.
Kodo Bane.
Got a bear.
And a
Kodo
draw.
Bane.
Draw a few more cards.
Face.
I mean, I gotta respect the persistence.
Yeah.
So,
It's we got 2 turns left, realistically. Both just go face every turn. With everything.
come on, face with the bulwark.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
let the people down. I want to see the face with the bulwark.
I think honestly at that point I might have just tempoed out the Viper. Just to have like potential for extra damage in the case of like Mutinous getting cleared or something like that.
Yep, there is. That quick shot needs to kill a minion if Bite Size AC doesn't want to die this turn, but if it goes face, then there's no chance of winning the game. So
Yeah.
I think we know that this game has been over for quite some time.
Yeah.
And
Especially in a
I would
conflict like yeah.
like as a captain, I would advise my players, particularly the 5 seeds, to have conceded this match long ago. Just
Mhm.
because it's not game 5. There is nothing worse for your mental state mid-game than playing an unwinnable match.
Yeah.
You
As
play until
as
your last reasonable out, which I
Yeah.
think was there we go.
it
Which was probably
turn
after the Rhinos went.
Yeah. Once the Rhinos were out, yeah. I would agree. I
So-
mean, obviously, we're not these players. We don't know their where they are mental wise. We're only kind of pulling out what we've experienced as players. I do agree with you as a player and also as your hero 5 seed. It's really good to kind of just know when you're gonna lose and know if it's a really bad situation to stop any potential tilt essentially from that point. But hey, big respect to kind of stick in it and see what chances are. And now we have Hunter versus me for game 5.
That's the hunt.
Yep. And this is Mazaki Mage.
Nozaki. It
And
is.
this is Face Hunter.
Yeah.
This is a bad matchup.
Yep, and we have neophytes in the deck too. So I don't think we'll see a neophyte on 2 in this matchup at all.
Yes. So I think this was maybe a target aggro druid kind of lineup with the
Potential.
control warrior,
Yeah.
paladin. But where this that lineup does have a lot of crossover with beating up on Face Hunter, the control
Yeah.
warrior and the paladin in particular. But
Yeah.
where
it differs is
parallels
Mizaki.
drop is Mage. Mazaki Mage, it's decent into kind of board-based druids like Beast Druid and Aggro Taunt Druid because it has, it's got Fire Sale, it's got Flurry, it's
Yeah.
got a lot of kind of board removal, board stall tools.
Yeah.
What it doesn't like is
Spells go
direct
face.
burn. What it really doesn't like
It's Trog.
is Trogs. And what do we have on one fish?
Trog.
So that coming down, and we don't see a first flame. I don't believe we saw one in the first part of the mulligan either. That's a
We did
pretty
not.
crucial card to have.
I believe there was the only toss. There was a
I think it was AI.
It was a second primordial studies. There's a 3 keep.
Ooh, there's
It's
Brain
there is a
freeze.
brain freeze, but there's no way to really do anything against the Trog. But at least it's not going to grow if you don't really realistically play anything. So we could just probably see a pass
unless
here.
Doggy Biscuit is picked up on next turn.
True. Yeah, you're right. If Biscuit's picked up, it's rough. Okay, so we're gonna see studies. We're gonna pick up Geomancer, but it's gonna create a second Trog.
Alright, Trog's gonna do Trog things. And an Initiate as well.
Yeah.
So we could see Initiate come down in preparation for the Ramming Mount, or we could see the Neophyte.
I might just want to see either a Hero Power or Initiate, just because I know how important Neophytes are versus Mozaki.
Yeah. But when you have Ramming Mount in hand, the
Okay.
Neophyte has a bit of extra merit because it just means you're that bit more likely to have a minion stick, get that +2/+2, send it to the face, then you have a kind of pseudo death rattle. Mozaki, not the pickup. It's a bit early for that one.
Yeah. And more specifically, this stops. This would have stopped the brain freeze from killing one of the Trogs, although it doesn't matter because the Trog would have happened. Oh, there's a Doggy Biscuit.
Let me work my magic.
Okay, so see if we see a trade. I would guess we're probably going to see some, maybe the 3/5 go into the 2/2 and the rest go face. I just want to. I would just want to keep spell power off the board.
I want to see the Cult Neophyte kill this.
Actually, yeah, Neophyte kills it because you want to stay out of the range of Fire Sale.
Love to see it.
Yeah.
Well, good recognition there. Coin, if you trade in 3/5 and you do get hit by a coin fire sale, you probably lose with this hand. So
You're
it's good
right.
recognition from Bite Size AC that
Big, yeah,
It-
good recognition.
cannot happen.
Mhm.
Hot Streak, Ignite. Ignite's okay removal. Hot Streak's fine to get a cheaper fire sale, but Trog's going to keep on coming.
Yeah.
Brain Freeze 1, it just comes back.
hmm Oh, we're actually gonna get 2.
Yep.
Recognizing that having one was, but that's almost the same amount of attack.
God.
Oh, that is.
Doggy Biscuit hero power into aim shot hero power or ramming mount hero power. Fucking
Yeah,
dicey.
this is looking really nice for the warrior. The mage, unfortunately, just gonna summon more trogs. Did not really have the early clear for it, and even on turn 1, there is, it kind of turned out rough for him because at this point you're gonna need multiple. You're gonna need 2 ways to set these to 3 plus a fire sale. And that's 8 damage represented on board with the next turn. That's gonna be an extra. It's gonna be to 1,
Yeah,
essentially.
this needed to be first flame, second flame, hot streak, fire sale this
Something
turn.
like that, yeah. And it's just 8 plus that. It's lethal. There's lethal right here. Hunter's gonna win this on turn 5 with aim shot. Hero power. No, flurry hits. Okay, it's
Nope.
still lethal.
Yep.
It's even more. It's even more so lethal because there's a full board now of trogs.
Yeah, that flurry was always guaranteed to that would never stop lethal essentially.
Yeah.
Because even if it throws a 3 attack trog, it would still make 3 more trogs.
Yep.
So yeah,
And
that's
there it
gonna
is.
be it for the Face Hunter. Finally gets through. Exactly through with running out. And bite-sized AC takes a pretty clutch victory there. Which was much needed
Yeah.
for Agent P's Golden Showers. Now
Exactly.
that brings the game, the total score
10
for
to-
this week 10-9 in favor of IDK.
So so whoever wins this last one wins.
Yep, and the last one, of course, is Nails versus JR Juggalo.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But Fish, what we got up next?
So are we gonna? Do we have time for? Are we gonna get Bite Size in for a quick interview? Okay, cool.
Sweet. I want to ask some questions about that Druid Warrior game.
That's definitely a good one.
That was, I think, the coolest one.
Hello.
Hello. Congratulations.
How we doing?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, how'd you feel about that? I thought there's some pretty good play there. I very much liked your macro level gameplay. You kind of stuck to one game plan all throughout, which is something I find 5 seeds often have a bit of a wobbly time with. So it was very good to see.
I can definitely be dodgy. You just gotta give me a chance. I could be wobbly and dodgy. You just gotta give me a minute.
Dude,
Yeah.
so long as you're not dodgy on stream, that's the most
Right.
important.
No, that's the thing. And I have to give a lot of credit to Coach, Battle because
Mhm.
he tossed me the opportunity to play on stream over from the team that he runs on Hero, which I thought, I was like, wow, okay, that's cool. Like, he's gonna let me play. And he helped me with the game plan. He prepped, you know what I'm saying? Like, he told me what to
Yeah.
practice and what to listen, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And it really that was gave me the confidence to at least come over here and not just like go 0-3 or something. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
definitely a lot of credit to the coach for getting me ready.
Yeah, you loved it. You love to see it. You love to see it. You'll be moving on up through the seeds in no time, I'm sure. The game I really liked your approach was the druid versus the warrior.
My God,
I,
let's.
I loved the greed. I loved the greed. There was probably only one turn that I really disagreed with, which was getting the composting, the second one out instead of the
Yeah,
arbor up.
yeah.
I thought that was that a time thing?
Wow. I'll tell
Or
you what
you,
it was, and be honest with you. When I came in, obviously, fully expecting Warrior to be of the Pirate Warrior. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
aware that there's control. I mean, I've seen it.
Yeah.
But I'm playing a lot of Hero, and that's the deck they run. So
Yeah.
when that happened, what you see on stream is me completely redoing my game plan minute by minute in my head as I get cards in my hand. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Like how do I get
And-
around? Like, because if I don't keep enough burst damage going, I can't get past the armor. I never win. Like I never win that game.
Mhm.
Minions or no minions, right? So I have to figure out on the fly with a deck I haven't really ever. I only practiced with for like 12 or so hours. So I mean, and I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that's where you see intrepidation. That's where you see mistakes being made. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
try this. Put this card out. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. That's
for that game plan to have come up on the fly, it's pretty
insanely
impressive.
good. Yeah, very impressive indeed.
Like, especially, have you been playing the game for long? I'm not sure if you've played in a meta where Control Warrior has been particularly prevalent.
I've been
Or
playing
not.
Hearthstone since launch, so I've played in almost all the metas. But I'm a true rookie to THL in that I've never been Legend. I've played since launch, never been Legend, and this is my first season in THL. In fact, this is week
Nice.
4. This is like my 4th match I've ever played in THL. So,
Mhm.
I've
Good stuff.
making that transition from casual to competitive.
Yeah, you with the closed list THL series, you
Oh,
got
I
to
love
get.
it.
There's all manner of weird shit that can show up every now and then, which makes it interesting, but also makes it quite hard to prepare. And it is a really important skill to be able to just adjust your game plan on the fly.
As soon as I marked that deck as control, I was like, well, let's start over. Like now, it's the
let's
plan.
not play any cards.
Yeah, let's just hold up a minute, because if you do it one by one and you just give them one turn removals on single minions, this is not going to go well.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if you had a
Um,
brawl. That's the other thing, is I couldn't remember if brawl was still in standard or not, and I couldn't. And if
it's
it is,
core.
I thought it was in core. So if it is,
Yeah.
though, I wasn't sure if he had it. So
Mhm.
now I'm like, well, if I load a board, does he just brawl it? But once I saw he put out like 2 bigger minions, I was like, okay, he's probably not going to brawl a board with like if he's carrying mutinous, right? He's not going to mutinous and then brawl, right? Typically, so.
Yeah.
I was like, it's probably not in the deck, and then once I kind of got confident in that, then I was like, all right, we can probably go with this plan.
Nice.
yeah.
Very well done.
Yeah. Yeah, that's can't argue with that logic. That's some pretty heads up thinking. And Brawl was in the deck. He just didn't
Yeah.
draw it.
Oh, good. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I
Well,
guess I
yeah.
meant not the deck.
He
effectively
had
not
it in
deck.
he
Yeah.
had it in the second game. Didn't really need it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
Oh,
a
yeah.
tough one. That game B4 was a tough one. I appreciate, you hung in there as long as you pretty much could until it was really tough at the end.
Yeah,
Um,
I had that. So the problem that I had going into that game is that I should have beaten the Warlock. Just on paper. I mean, on paper, I should have beaten the Warlock. There were some mistakes that were made there that I didn't like. There's some plays I didn't like that I made.
Yeah.
So I was regretting that game going
Mhm.
into Control Warrior, and then when the Warrior queued up, I was like, right. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like this has to go
that's
perfect.
actually
Like this
the
has to go
unwinnable.
literally perfect. And then when it didn't, I was like, well, now we're just wasting everybody's time. Like let's just move on to Mage. You know what I mean? So
We had already started talking about game 5 several
Yeah.
minutes before it ended.
no, I was talking. So and the other problem is I'm so trained on the hero schedule that as soon as that third game finishes, or as soon as there's 2 wins, I'm like, dope, I'm out of here. And then they're like, no, you got to keep playing. I was like, right, you big kids play rough. All right, we're gonna keep going. And then after the Warrior game against the Hunter, I was like, great, I'm out of here. Good game. And they're like, no, you got to actually keep playing. And then when I saw the Mage, I was like, right, a matchup I can win. I might win this game.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you got Trogon 1, and then Trogon 1 just soloed the entire thing.
Oh yeah, that was like that. When I saw that,
Yeah.
that's like that's like top deck in the ace. And, you're just like, well, this is probably gonna go well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. It did. You got a pretty crucial win for the team there. It's all
Yeah.
going to be go down to
Good
match
deal. Yeah, I saw it was
5.
close coming into this match. I saw they were pretty close, like 5-8 or something like that.
Yeah, if you had lost, you would have lost the week. So
Oh,
you
wow.
kept the team in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Well, I'm glad I
definitely.
could come in and like actually do some good instead of coming in and be like, well, 0-3, you're welcome, bye. You know, you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Peace out.
Yeah.
peace out. Have
I
a good
mean,
day.
that's. Mhm.
Yep, it's all down to Nails versus JR Juggalo. They're going to decide it. But
Ooh,
I
who you
think
got in that
we
one?
are. Ooh. I mean, Nails screwed me earlier today, so I assume he's going to win.
We'll see. No, we will
But-
definitely see. For
Yeah.
that match.
Sure.
Yeah,
It's gonna be interesting, man. I can't wait to watch it. I'm gonna watch it right after this.
perfect. Well, thank you
Awesome.
for coming on Bite Sized AC.
Hey, thank you
Very
guys
well
so much for
played.
having me and giving me the opportunity, and thank you for being kind. I know there was mistakes you could have railed on. I appreciate you just dusting those under the rug and moving on.
Yeah, I'm sure you can go back and watch the VOD.
I-
see
Oh, I will.
I know.
if
I
you
know
could
for.
have
I
done
know for all the
differently.
times that I've made mistakes playing on stream. It's not fun. It's always nicer when the casters, don't rail on the players. It's good.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing it for content. I'm doing it for you
Makes
guys.
you want to play. Makes you almost want to just come back
Right.
and play on stream again if one day.
I'm making mistakes
Yeah.
for you guys for content. I mean, if I just come out here and play perfect, what are you guys gonna talk about?
How amazing the play is.
Right.
But yeah, obviously,
There's always something to talk about.
obviously, yeah, you're right. But yeah, thanks for coming on. Thanks for doing this interview.
You're welcome.
So
You guys have a great night.
you as well.
Thank you, and have a good evening yourself. In the meantime, let's talk about our second match of the show. What we got next, Fish?
Yeah, we've got wild action, wild series. We have Nincity of South Sea Legends versus EPT Hopper of Rumble Tusk Shakers. So,
Let's talk about these decks.
talk
So,
about the
EPT
decks.
Hopper they got a Freeze Shaman, an Odd Quest Hunter, an Ignite Mage, and a interestingly hand buff Paladin. So they've kind of got the 3 good decks and then a bit of a more out there one.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
hand buff
Nincity-
isn't too bad.
It's not too bad, but it's not the kind of top tier like the other 3 decks in their lineup are.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Nincity is running Mechathune Warlock, Quest Pirate Warrior, Cthulhu Druid, and Freeze Shaman themselves. Obviously, Freeze Shaman, with the way it is at the moment, there's probably only like 22 cards which are in everyone's list, and then there's so much difference and discrepancy between the 2 lists that we'll kind of get into those as we need to in the match.
This
Because too many to talk about,
so
and we do
looking
have
at-
bans in.
we do have the bans. So there's no mage for Hopper. His Ignite Mage is banned, and Hopper has banned Mechathune Warlock. From
Interesting.
Nincity. So
Yeah.
I will say that the shamans are definitely quite a bit different. It's a lot lower. It looks a lot lower to the ground for Nincity, whereas Hopper has kind of a more traditional list. He's running boom pistols. He's running, he's running like boom pistol bullies. He's running the Grumble and the Zola, and he's even running a Zola for a little bit more greed. I know the players will be getting started shortly. Yeah.
Yeah. Just
But-
wait for them to get started. Yep. So
Definitely.
neither player has the Saronite plus Grumble to potentially go infinite. EPT Hopper does have Grumble, but no Saronites alongside the Zola.
Yeah.
While Nincity doesn't have Grumble or Saronites or Boom Pistol Bully. Does interestingly run double Lightning Storm. Maybe expecting
aggro.
Pirate Warrior.
Yeah. It was
So
probably
they-
definitely expecting Pirate Warrior here.
Yeah, and there's completely missed on that, unfortunately. So it looks like the game has started, so we're going to be getting into spectate with EPT Hopper
Coming
on
storm.
the bottom, I believe, Nincity on the top.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Handbuff Paladin, Freeze Shaman, Odd Quest Hunter versus Pirate Warrior, Cthulhu Druid, and Freeze Shaman.
Yeah,
And we've got a Freeze Shaman mirror to start things off. And so now we can talk about a few more of these card differences.
sure. So yeah, this is gonna be interesting. I think Hopper's list is the way that it's built is just a little bit, I'd say perhaps a little bit more solid in the mirror because of Boom Pest. Because this is version is teching for exactly the mirror. I will say that the lack of Living Dragon Breath is a bit interesting, but that's from Hopper's
Yeah,
end.
yeah. So Hopper's got a lot of different text. Like there is a Bolner in the list, which
Yeah,
is not
Bolner's been
present in
pretty.
League of Cities.
Yeah, Bolner is pretty like stock standard free shaman card as well.
Yeah, they're both going for the kind of stock nature spells, double devolve, single Wind Fury for the Primal Dungeoneers to draw.
Mhm.
Hopper has a Zentamo, while Nin City does not.
Yeah,
But what Nin City does have in place of these kind of tech cards, they do have the Living Dragon Breath, which is huge in the mirror. They do have the double Lightning Storm, which is useless in the mirror. And they do have double Lightning Blooms to maybe get the block out a little bit faster.
yeah.
But as we talk about that, Daddy Rat has hit a Snowfall Guardian, which is huge.
Yeah, so once Snowfall gone, means that you can't kind of reload, like you can't go like Snowfall on Six, Snowfall on 7 and hope and it kind of stall out for your macaws. Um,
Yes.
yeah.
Was not the Shadow Walk, which would have been much, much worse.
Yeah,
Um,
I think you could have I think Hopper would even be fine losing Shutterwalk in this specific matchup because I don't think there was a way to clear it, so it would at least be able to trade off. Hopper went for a just pass. He didn't play a single card, I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
Which
well,
is fine.
none of the cards really warranted playing. They've both
Yeah,
kind of got a bit of dead hand
true.
syndrome.
But we do see a Guardian in the hand for Hopper, so he'll be able to play that this turn. I would expect him to take not much time to go ahead and rip that.
Yep, Guardian comes down, but no macaws
In
in
hand.
the hand, meaning that
Mhm.
this effect is not going to be copied anytime soon until the Shadow Walk.
Yeah. Alright, so Living Dragon Breath was played there.
Yep, so hopefully a Toxfin's going to come in for EPT Hopper.
It
Does
does
not
not.
find it, so
No ice fishing or Toxfin, so no way to remove that specifically. Probably gonna have to use a devolve here.
yeah, just for the Snowfall Guardian.
It's
It's
some pretty good, decent hits.
2 0-cost minions is pretty fantastic from a devolve point of view.
Yeah.
Just going to be thinking about do I die to Wind Fury here as it stands? Does
As it
die to Wind
stands,
Fury, so we will see the Armor Vendor come down. Might see the Dirty Rat just to get an extra +4 health, but might be a bit of an overextension.
perhaps, yeah. What's interesting is Nin City's kind of out of minions. He only has spells left in his hand. I know he'll be able to clear through some stuff with the minions if he wants. But Hopper's just kind of on the back foot for a little bit here. We're gonna see the Dirty Rat played just for the taunt. Obviously, it can't pull anything. Okay, well, he didn't completely play. He did almost play it though.
Yeah, just thinking about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we're
think
probably going to see this Windshield come down on this 8/8.
I would
See what comes
think
to
so.
hand.
Yeah. Windshield for draw makes a lot of sense here. Probably has to get rid of the Bolner off the board. Just get Bolner off the board. It's just so strong. Oh, we're gonna Windshield the 0-2. We're gonna leave the 8-8 alive. Are we gonna trade minions into the 8-8? Oh no, we're gonna devolve. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, with one in hand, that's fine. Interestingly enough, it's another 5 mana 4/4. Don't know if we're going to see trades into that. It's
Yeah,
not hugely impactful. We're just going to. Oh, we are. And
we're gonna see a
another
trade
Dirty
in
Rat.
a trade. Oh, they want to get enough. They want to get enough board space to Dirty Rat. Okay, so we'll see if the Dirty Rat comes in or not. It does not come in. Neophyte picked up. Gonna go for the rat. We'll actually pull potentially
Rat
the.
pulls rat.
Oh, did not pull the Flurgle.
Yeah, though Flurgle without the Toxfin in hand doesn't do a whole lot.
Yeah. We will note that the I will note that the Felmaw does wake up this turn.
Yep, so that's 5 going somewhere. If it decides it's face more today, we'll be going face. But yeah, the downside in Nin City's build is kind of starting to show through here. There's double Lightning Storm, the Evolve, the Wind Fury. Means that Primal Dungeoneer is
Probably
it's
dead.
never going to double proc now because every nature spell has been drawn.
Yeah, and he's only played one Sleepbreaker from deck. I'm pretty sure.
Another interesting thing about Nim City's build is they run double Ice Fishing with only Flurgle and Toxfin.
Oh, there's no other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's no
I do
Stargate,
notice
only
that
Zap.
double ice fishing. Yeah, I mean it's just for consistency at that point. But sometimes if you run double ice fishing, you'll run Mutanus. Just to have that available consistency. The Faceball woke up and hit the minion with a lot of attack, so it's now a 5/1.
The test subject just really chaining through these freezes.
Yeah, I got
So
another
if it
one.
does-
Sorry.
If it does die, gonna give an extra 2, possibly 3 Wind Chills to the hand.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. That's a good use of that. Okay. Now, a Dirty Rat here would pull the Flurgle. But we are going to see Shudderwalk, so we'll pull it anyways.
Just walk and go. Gonna pull the Flaggle. We see.
Ooh, it's a Macaw. Alright. That plus he devolve does remove that, but gets a Betrug.
Betrug is interesting. The most crucial thing is because Hopper has Grumble in the deck, you have to develop Shudderwalk.
Yeah.
As well as the Zola. If that had been Zola'd, it would have been very bad news.
True.
So the Zola can maybe trade into the target dummy, drop a Dirty Rat, possibly Zola on the Dirty Rat.
Yeah. So he's gonna he's probably gonna Zola his rat here.
I mean,
he could Zola. I mean, he could Zola his Zola. Yeah.
Zola just for mana utilization, make some 2/2s.
Mm-hmm.
But now it looks like we're going for the rat just here. Both players just really running out of stuff.
Yeah.
We've already seen a Shudderwalk
but-
go for EPT Hopper, so
But
they're
I
going to be
will-
looking to win off things like their Grumble and their Boom Pistol Bully, their Lotheb.
Yeah, the whole point of this for Hopper is just to honestly stall and get a win with Zentimo Wind Fury. But there's just so much armor for the other side. I think this is just going to be a long, slow win for Nin City potentially. Although there is no.
For Zentimo Wind Fury to be relevant, the thing is, EPT Hopper is out of big minions.
Yeah,
Both
for sure.
Guardians and Shudderwalk are gone.
Yeah.
So the biggest minion remaining is going to be the 7/7 of Grumble.
Yeah, and there was no Macaws that could replicate either of them, because of Dirty Rat being the last, actually Zola being the last thing played. So
Yep, Dirty Rat is going down just for the taunt here.
It's game. This is game. You get Wind Fury on the. You can just Wind Fury out on the 13-13. Well,
Kill it
we're gonna
off.
do
Wind
it
Fury
with
on the
Toxin
13-13.
Circle.
Yeah,
Smart.
just clears off the taunts. Get
Yeah.
past the taunt. The Wind Fury hits him in the face. Game 1 to Nin City with that lower to the ground build. And
Yeah.
EPT Hopper, they were just waiting for that ice fishing or that toxin. They had the Flurgle in hand all the way through, and that's just,
Mhm.
that's freeze shaman. That or just
Yeah.
charm, any kind of slower shaman in
That was
wild at the moment in general. That particular combo is so powerful, but if you draw one of the pieces, it's like being on -1 cards. It only
really
feels
is.
good if you hit the ice fishing.
Mhm.
So Nin City had the possibility of hitting the ice fishing twice, as there were 2 in the deck. But looking at game number 2, DPT Hopper is going to be running out the free shaman once again.
Fear the
Nin
coming
City with the
storm.
warrior has coin cannon into quest 1 drop available, while EPT Hopper does have the Snowfall Guardian in their hand ready to go.
Yeah. This matchup is pretty bad for the warrior.
However,
because of-
they do draw weapon patches.
Yeah, that's so. This is actually like that's as bad as drawing patches before the quest.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's slightly more playable,
Sure.
but it's not really what you want to be. Defiance Cannoneer without.
There's gonna be patches bug here, so we're gonna have to restock. Oh, I actually did not get patches bug myself. Patches came out. Right.
So crucially, the cannon has not been dealt with.
Yes, that is definitely something to note. That this is okay. So he's gonna decide to go in with drawing with his weapon. I might have tried to go in with some minions here because of things
the
like
cannon.
because of the
thing is,
cannon. You just want to get maximum cannon usage.
with Defiance Cannoneer in hand, which could come out from the Dirty Rat, which would be a huge deal for Nin City.
That would be big.
It is advantageous to them to set up the weapon.
Yeah,
Bloodsail Corsair, they don't really care.
yeah. We're just gonna see Cannoneer dropped with a
With a
one
swing,
drop. So many Bloodsail Corsairs. Oh, those are unfortunate. Those minions now. Wow. He has to trade both his minions in now. That's actually pretty big.
it's
Have
pretty
to sack
big.
those 2 minions.
The interesting thing though is the Boom Pistol Billy does it stops a lot of pirates minions from being playable, as they are almost all battle cries. We can see that only Defiance Cannoneer is going to be playable here.
Yes. It's so weird. This Cannoneer might live all game until we get a Flurgle for the Toxfin. Okay. I think now at this point it's just Guardian Macaw, like just and then hopefully having a Flurgle Toxfin for when Rokara comes out in a little bit here. These cannon shots could really put a bad wrench into Hopper's plans. They do not. They both go face.
Yeah, we're probably going to see a second Harvest Camp here. What Nin City is looking for is, of course, Zoth's first mate. Finds it,
Wow.
but
Big
does
pickup.
not play it to get the Defiance Cannoneer procs going.
There's ice fishing,
There.
so
Ice Fishing going to hit the Fungal Mount of Flurgle.
Yeah.
But we could
I
see
would
some
like to see Macaw.
Macaw with the ice. So we'll see Totem Macaw ice fishing.
Probably.
I want to see the 6-2 go to the face first.
He might decide to go and kill the. It's quite tough to figure out what the play is here, because there could be some rough punishes, potentially.
I wonder.
But this has to get frozen because the lurking threat of a smite with with anything that deals an extra couple of damage would essentially end the game.
Yeah, smite is always got to be a consideration. I think Hop is just thinking about, do I play the full cost Guardian, not kind of lay my hand on the table with the ice fishing and let my opponent know that they can play around it if they want to.
Mhm. Yeah.
But we are going to see... Oh, we can't see Rikara come down this turn. No, we can. Sorry.
Yeah, we
I thought it
can.
was
Yeah.
on one.
So Rokara gets
Zero
played
active.
here, and then everything dies. Yeah. So we do get the Juggernaut.
Yeah, and that is, of course, why the Nasos first mate didn't come down the previous turn. I thought it was on 0 out of 2, it wasn't on 1 out of 2. And that was just a nod to Dirty Rat number 2 from Hopper.
Yeah. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see the Flurgle Tox, but we're gonna also see Macaw to freeze the board up, and it's gonna set up a lot of damage in the next coming turns.
Keep a damage. Though, worth noting, they're on 13 health. So we might see a bully here. We won't
Okay.
see the
Oh yeah, you
Mark
wanna keep them board locked. Yeah.
yeah, because you know, smite, pirate, weapon,
Yeah.
it can hurt.
Yeah. So it's Outrider's Axe.
I imagine we're just going to see this go to the face, hero power, and pass. So now we can see Zola. Ooh, or Grumble. Grumble is a fantastic pickup because all three of these can go face, then Grumble, and Snowfall Guardian,
Mhm.
and the Macaw. Sure, so you could just play all three once again. Would set up lethal quite easily.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see that. You just go everything face. You could Grumble, and then you can play that plus Macaw. We're gonna see Azola potentially on the Snowfall Guardian as well. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's the ultimate line. The main thing that will happen is, you know, the board is going to all be frozen in some way. And now it's just the question of making
We're gonna-
attacks or not making attacks.
Yeah, and he's gonna make the attacks for sure.
Yeah.
And
Because
he is.
doesn't
He's
set up lethal.
yeah.
With the Wrench
It's-
Caliber, there's now a possible lethal.
There is, yeah. Wrench Caliber face and then into a bomb draw.
And I think that's why I liked the Grumble line a little bit more, because it lets you attack the previous turn and attack this turn.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. And now
Same
there's
thing.
there's a high possibility that weapon just does it. I think I would play Dungeoneer here and hope to draw my Wind Fury probably. Like that's just lethal.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
It's
Of course,
tough because
quite
there's
a few. There's quite a few spells which are not Wind Fury, which could be
That's-
drawn. Second
that's
Evolve,
true.
Wind
Second
Fury.
There's Wind Chills?
Wind Chills have both been played.
Okay, so it's a 50-50, right?
And as this is EP Hopper, they do not have the second Ice Fishing or the Lightning Storm that could be drawn.
Yeah.
They go for
There is little time.
Oh, really not sure where from Hopper. So they're going for Evolve, which probably means we're going to see an Ice Fishing combo come down.
Oh no. This is a really unfortunate situation. He has to get something. He has to freeze the board here. Alright, he got the board freeze. He got double board freeze? Okay. No, he only got one. Weapon is not enough. Yep, that's game. Unless bombs
Yep.
drawn. Bomb draw is lethal for NCD. This will decide the game regardless, whatever happens here. Bomb is not drawn.
Yeah,
Hopper
so
wins.
the
And he's gonna go ahead
Flurgle.
and talk. He's gonna go ahead and talk spin Flurgle for the hell of it, of course.
well, no, that was the only lethal because of the
Oh
taunt.
my gosh, you're right because of taunt. I didn't see the taunt. I thought it was. Well,
So
it was
with one minion able to attack, if the
True.
Murloc combo wasn't there, it would not have been lethal.
yeah, or if
Yeah, a bit of a
there was a possible Wind Fury lethal or devolving into no taunts lethal.
yeah. There were quite a few lethals
Yeah. Okay.
there.
Nonetheless, Hopper got there.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's unsurprisingly both freeze shamans through. You know,
Yeah.
it's
This
generally I have been following the NA World Series too close. Though freeze shamans pretty much been
Ooh,
best
this
performing decks, but this matchup,
is
the one
abysmal
we're
for the
about to see,
Hunter.
yeah, it's absolutely diabolical.
And
Uh,
Nincity has all the armor cards, so this is
Yes.
not going to be good for Hopper, unfortunately. So it feels bad, like as someone who has been obviously playing Wild the last couple of seasons, as Rebob played in Wild and EU last season. Druid decks do very well into Hunter. However, this opening of Toxic Reinforcements does give some hope because that it is a nice card to get early.
It's kind of like the only win condition is you got to get an early toxic.
Mhm.
You need to get just a really fast quest completion with Tavish on 5, and then you need to have
Mhm.
like double tracking. And even then, because we see Ferocious Howl, Oaken Summons, Final Fortunes,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, just bungle here.
Ooh. And looks like a minion was discarded. It was the Marauder
Ancient
and
Marauder.
not the Vargoth. Absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
That means that if Howl comes down into summons,
I just
assuming
think
the
I
Vargoth
just
is
think
not drawn,
I
it's
just
going to
think-
be game 12, game over.
I just think we coin out the summons here. We don't care about Howl.
I don't know. Howl gains 9 armor.
Yeah, but we
Great.
could have also gained that almost that same amount next turn. So I think guaranteeing the Vargoth there was
The thing is, though,
probably a little better.
if you coin summons, you guarantee Vargoth, but Vargoth can coin.
Oh, you're right. That's true.
So
That is
you
true.
do really want to summon on a turn. You just don't play any other cards.
Yeah. I should have realized that. Yeah. So now we get the Toxic Reinforcements coming out. So there's now 3 2-1s on the board.
And here comes the summons. With the Marauder gone, I believe it's the only copy in the deck. Yeah, only one Marauder. So 5/10 is not going to come down, but
Mhm.
you know,
So
small mercies.
yeah, it's like the one thing is that this Hunter deck can do a lot of damage. It's just this Druid deck with the cards it has being Cthulhu Druid. It essentially the whole game plan is just gain a bunch of armor. There is no branching paths right now in hand. Otherwise, we could see 24 more armor get attached to the Druid next turn. But Hopper having to decide what to do here with the minions because he can deal 12, but he probably needs to get rid of this Vargoth so it doesn't keep doing damage.
Yeah, so it's probably going to be a Wound Prey and Aim Shot with a
Yeah.
Leponome trade.
Definitely.
Because Vargoth has to die, because Branching Path, Ferocious Howl, anything along those lines is just lights out. A little bit of a nod to Spreading Plague here, putting the 1 damage into the face and the 1/1 rush into the Vargoth rather than keeping a 1/1 in play. Doesn't make a lot of sense, especially with no kill commands in hand. Not too much merit to having the beast around. But Wild Heart Guff is gonna come down.
Stuff on 5 is good. There's the branching paths.
Yep.
So we're gonna coin to hero power, and we're gonna hero power for a mana crystal, and then we get to remove a 2/1.
Yep. 38 health.
Yep. Indeed. And there really wasn't Hopper just didn't draw any one cost spells for the most part. He drew Flare, he drew like the Wound Prey, but realistically he didn't draw like rapid fire, things to get the quest done fast. So now he's sitting only on turn 6 is he now getting to zero cost hero power.
Yep, so
and that's just
realistically, Tavish. Well,
it is
if another
coming,
1+ spell is drawn,
Tavish comes down
then-
next turn, and it's still really rough. Solar branching pass is
Oh,
Solar branching is just more and more, and I think he played floops before, or no, he
I
just
know.
solar. No floops. There is floop in the deck.
yeah.
But
So that is
gain
game
armor.
28.
Yeah, so if I'm Hopper, I am not happy right now. But he might try to chunk it out. Oh.
And back you go.
So probably just wants to put the Tavish in deck now or in hand now. Honestly, save the extra spell for next turn.
Yep.
Baku might not be too bad here, because it is eventually a 9-mana 7/8, so could
Yep,
definitely
but-
potentially do some work.
Yeah, but Poison Seeds is on hand for Nen City.
You're right, yeah.
And-
Poison Seeds, yeah. It's I
Healing
mean there is a
Touch,
chance
why not?
there is a chance he just wants to get rid of the 7/7 and he doesn't even think Baku's in hand. Like that could potentially happen. But
If you're
realistically,
at the point where you're thinking about the offensive properties of Baku, the game is over.
True.
That's generally my motto.
I would 100% agree with you. Yeah.
This
we'll
Viper
see.
just keeps showing up.
Austin. Oh look, it's cheaper Tavish.
Yep, Beardo coming a bit late to the party.
Yes.
And just gonna put out the Arcane Shot, get the 5 damage now. Probably gonna see Baku come down next turn.
Yeah, it was pending draw for sure. Ferocious Howl drawing for 10 armor. Maw of Cthulhu gonna remove the minion. Yeah, we'll see how long Hopper wants to keep playing this out. For
Yeah, I'm
sure.
not sure if the Face Hunter Control Warrior game or this one was the more hopeless.
I'd say probably. Oh, that's a really. It took a few more turns for this to feel. It took a bit more turns for this to feel inevitable. I'll say that. The other one was probably over on like turn 5. This one took probably until like 6 or 7 to actually feel pretty over. But we're just drawing. We're just drawing all the. Hopper unfortunately just drew all of his. Oh, bless you.
Thank you.
So yeah, Hopper's gonna play out his remaining cards. He's gonna play out the power shot and then hero power face again. Realistically, it's
45.
yeah. I mean, this is just not looking good for the hunter. Heart of Cthulhu. It's really only a matter of probably playing Baku, getting poison seeds for a concede. I would guess. I mean, a lot of times if I'm doing this, I might be considering order. I might be like considering kind of how things will play out from here potentially. But with Nin City only having Pirate Warrior left, and you know the lists, yeah, and this rest of the lineup that EPT Hopper has does play very well, specifically into Pirate Warrior. So we'll see how this goes. Into the next game. There's the seeds.
There's the seeds.
There's the Jasper Spellstone. Hero power for a draw. Probably can also just rip the eye. That's not quite Cthulhu.
so-
That's not quite Cthulhu deck. There's still body of Cthulhu to be played.
Yep, and what Nin City is going to be looking for is the. So it's Solar, Eclipse, Body of Cthulhu to put 2 Cthulhu's in the deck, and then both Moonlit Guidances to draw extra Cthulhu's. Although, at this point, I don't think the extra ones are even necessary, as
Yeah.
Hopper cannot heal. Right, good news. Nin City is below 30 once again.
I was gonna
Runs
say,
and
wow, he
bounces
is now
there.
he's below 30 with no armor. But we know that there's more armor. Where that came from, he's going to solar branching, probably for another 20, probably for another 24 armor. Could throw some draw in there actually as well. try and speed up the process of this game.
No, there's
Um,
going to be a concede after this turn, I'm sure.
I would
Both-
I would guess.
Yeah,
There's
we've seen
nothing-
both kill commands, both aim shots, one tap sec reinforcements. We've seen
Yeah.
Baku.
Just drop the Tarantula. Tarantula Gaming.
Yep.
Yeah, this is just Hopper playing it out at this point. Yeah, Biology Project, which does nothing for Hopper at all.
Nope. Spreading Plague also doesn't do a great deal in this position, so just gonna throw it out as a 6-mana 1/5. Tarantula does get to go face, so a few more turns of this, and some kind of hope. But then City is now up to 20 mana, and you reach the point in the game where there's not really much more you can say. This game ended 5 minutes ago,
This must be
but
the
we're
way.
still going. There's the body of Cthulhu, so that's going to put it into the deck. So then we're going to see the Moonlit Guidance. Right, we can see Moonlit Guidance could miss the Cthulhu.
This must be the way.
Hey,
Does hit it. There we go. Game's over.
good to see a Cthulhu build up.
Oh yeah, that's always fun. And it was 1 over exact lethal, which is cool. But that is Nin the City taking it 2-1 over EPT Hopper. So the remaining deck for Nin City is that Pirate Warrior, as you mentioned before, up against this Quest Hunter and the Hand Buff Paladin. I can only assume that Hopper is going to be queuing the Quest Hunter first. Anyone who plays Wild knows that the holy trinity of the Wild meta for a while was Odd Hunter, which beat Pirate Warrior, which beat Even Rock, and into their kind of interaction shaped the meta to quite some way.
That's the hunt.
And Hunter's very strong matchup into this Pirate Warrior was a huge part of it. So we're very likely to see a game 5 here. And as predicted, the Hunter coming up first.
Would you say that the hunter is heavily favored then in this matchup? I thought it was a little bit closer.
I think in the hands of
The right pilot.
Yeah, this is
however,
the matchup can be really abysmal for
I think it's by far Pirate Warrior's worst matchup.
yes. I would agree.
However, this hand is
It's terrible.
dreadful.
Yeah,
I-
Hopper
I
hasn't
didn't
found
actually-
anything.
Didn't really get to see the mulligan properly, so I don't know what Hopper threw away there. It kind of looked like they kept the Viper.
No, he threw away everything. He got
Threw away everything and
yeah,
still
killed
got that
DC,
hand back.
and
That's
still had it back.
pretty dreadful.
So
Well, Nin City's hand is fantastic.
I will say
pirate.
Mhm. I will say I wasn't very keen on the addition of Tarantula because it does create kind of another pretty much dead card, especially for a matchup against Pirate Warrior where you just want to have everything streamlined, like with your spells. Because I think I'm not seeing exactly what he does, what is different. But there seems to be a
Yeah.
2-card difference with 2 shop keeps and a Tarantula. So there's different cards.
Yes. So I'd say the list, it's actually a fairly old style of list.
Yeah.
With the multiple tradables.
Patches bug.
Patches is bugged out for me as well. I can't see it.
Mhm.
But yeah, there was a period where everyone was running a lot of tradables at the expense of things like, I think it's more common now to see things like Lotheb in particular. Some people run Cold Light Oracles. What to run in those kind of last few card slots it's still not even really decided upon. I'm just gonna have to reset my spectate.
He's not running Hunter's Marks. That's what he's not running.
Yes,
Hunter's Mark is extremely useful and I mean, it's not necessarily super useful into this, but he does now have his rapid fires. He's going to start pinging out these minions. He'll be able to get Tavish fairly soon. Looks like
Yeah.
probably next turn-ish, depending on draw. He'll be able to have it in hand. But this Pirate Warrior's getting the damage in and is getting closer to Rokara at going into stage 3 on his turn 5.
Yes.
Or on
So,
Ninsetti's turn 5.
yeah, so crucially, it's going to wind up as Hopper is going to get to play Tavish before Nincity plays Rokara. For the Warrior to really have too much chance, obviously, they've done a huge amount of damage, which is crucial.
Yeah, this is it's just pretty nice that Nincity, at least the captain would have been really potentially brutal, but this power shot's really nice here. It allows
power
for
shot
a
is
full
a-
clear of board.
Yep, and even start sending hero powers to face.
Yeah.
We're going to see from Nincity, they're going to get the, I assume, the Nazoth first mate and the Freebeater and the Fire Slapper down. Get Maximum
Yeah,
Pirate, start pushing some damage face.
Yeah,
the Hunter, because of the. Sorry, carry on.
No, you're okay.
Say the Hunter, because of the poor draw. They usually, I'd say they reach this point in the matchup when they're on about 20 health. If they get things like
Yeah.
Wound
Top.
Prey.
Even Toxic on one can sometimes be okay. It's generally you generally just want to play Quest against Pirate Warrior. We're gonna see a hero. Ooh. So that is a bit of an opening for. It's a bit of an opening for Hopper here. Probably can even just go. I would like to see something like Ping Flare ping the minions off. Just that way there's obviously no way to die immediately besides smite on this turn. But I guess there's no way to really die even if the 1/1 lives. So
Yeah.
smite off the top. Smite off the top. Wow.
Yep, that-
Absolutely brutal for this hunter.
Yeah.
Did not draw
Nincity
at all.
getting 3-1 there.
Yep.
Didn't even have to play against the Handbuff Paladin, which, to be fair, they were fairly favoured with that Pirate Warrior as well. But they do take it in the unfavoured.
I think
And
I
that
think Handbuff's
Tarantula
actually
just
pretty
kept
favored.
showing up and kept just showing why people don't play it. It's just, I think it was too many tradables in this hunter list. Not enough cheap spells.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen the double hunters mark, even though you're probably not going up against something like a warlock, like a pain lock or something that, or an even lock, things that weren't big minions, but it's just that extra one. It's like extra 1 damage. Oh, Nincity's
Yep.
here.
Congrats, Nincity. Well done. Getting that last unfavourable out the way. Taking it 3-1. Very well played.
Thank you very much.
So, I think my main question to you is, it's the Shaman list.
Okay, there's a story behind that.
Hit it.
So I was talking with my my captain for this week, who's a Hyperin, Mr. Wrench Copium, who lost his match with a Tech Wrench Caliber. So I was talking with him about how to set up the list for this match, because we were both almost certain that Hopper was going to bring Cute Lock this week. So
Yeah.
that's what the Lightning Storms
That's the
and Double Ice
storms,
Fishing was
okay.
for.
So was this a cute lock target?
Yes, it was, and it was failed, but I don't know. The double lightning storm still seemed to pay off.
Yeah, it was a weird one where I think if they just got their ice fishing, you probably just ran out of stuff. But you just managed to push through. They had their Flurgle in hand for the entire Shaman Mirror.
It was a really lucky top deck too, with the ice fishing in the Freeze Shaman Mirror, because I would not have been able to pull through if I didn't get that board clear.
Yeah, well, no, but they had their Flurgle in hand for basically the entire game and didn't pick the Toxfin or Ice Fishing up.
Oh shoot, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
So it is the double Ice Fishing. Is that also a throw to the cute lock? Just get that consistency.
Yes,
Or
I've
just
also
light?
heard that it's just better to run double ice fishing even without the Scargill Mutanus combo, just for like consistency to like Shadow Priest and stuff like that.
Yeah, Free Shaman builds are they're probably like the most interesting things in terms of building decks at the moment because literally nobody agrees on anything.
The list, now I don't have like the optimal list because I don't have like Bolner or Zola or anything like that. The list I usually run has Brukan of the Elements. And the first one I actually had this season was because of that. It was an Odd Hunter versus Freeze Shaman, and I won by just spamming Brukan Fireballs.
Yeah. You love to see
See,
it.
that's what I like the most about Free Shaman is everyone's just got like that one card where they're just like, no, it's the nuts. But everyone else will say, no, it sucks.
Yeah, and I think it's like that with Lightning Bloom too. Pretty much everyone in my team runs the Lightning Blooms, and I don't see a lot of other people using it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't personally
Bloom-
run it.
Yeah, I don't run Bloom, but I definitely see the merit just getting to play. I mean, just getting to play a Guardian on 4 against like Pirate Warrior must be pretty nuts.
Yeah.
It just allows
Um,
for so much more flexibility, and also being able to have another target to draw the Guardian from the Primal.
Oh yeah, of course. I always forget that Lightning Bloom's a nature spell. I'm definitely going to try the Bloom out, as that seems really logical. Yeah, you made it through despite your relative lack of top end because your opponent
Yeah,
just
that,
didn't.
that that mirror was probably the one I was most concerned about. I was not expecting to win that one. I was willing to take the loss in the Pirate Warrior matchup because I knew there was no way I was going to get through with that. And I was hoping to get through the Freeze Shaman with the Cthulhu Druid because I didn't expect the mirror to actually be a win.
Gotta love, gotta love Conquest Q Order. Yeah, but I mean, you took. I think you took 2 matchups where you were fairly unfavored on paper: the Shaman Mirror and the Warrior into the Hunter. So I
Is that
think you.
unfavored? I could have sworn it
Yeah.
was the opposite.
No, Pirate Warrior does not really beat Odd Hunter because Odd Hunter, if they draw their if they draw like their early game stuff, if they just ping all your minions out.
That's what I mean. The Hunter. I would say the Hunter's pretty favored into the Warrior, but you still got through.
It all depends on who you ask about that matchup. So
That last matchup also kind of came down to a Smite top deck too.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyone who says Pirate Warrior is favored against Odd Hunter, fight me.
Yeah, my stats against my personal stats against Pirate Warrior are very good from my Odd Quest list. But
I
yeah,
always thought that matchup was the whole reason you played Hunter. You know, you take Elves and some other ones, and then you just dumpster.
Well, before
Warriors.
Freeze Shaman, that was for targeting the even lock pretty much, because Pirate Warrior does not like even lock.
Yes. Yeah, even lock destroy because of Defile just can just solo matchup so early.
Yeah.
But
I'm one of the people who insists that even lock is heavily favored against Odd Hunter because I play it more.
That just depends on if you run Hunter's Marks or not.
I think it'd be a mistake to not run the Hunter's Mark, honestly,
100%.
especially with Freeze Shaman now.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did comment on. We think the fact that Hopper wasn't running Hunter's Marks and they were running they were running 5 tradables. Did seem to kind of hamper them a fair bit.
Logs up.
Which gave you some breathing room and you get quite a lot of early damage in.
Yeah, another thing I was worried about was I know in my normal freeze list I run double Wind Fury. I saw he wasn't running that, thankfully, which that could have been another out for him because he had a lot of big threats in the Shaman Mirror.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I think overall you played that super well. And obviously, a little luck does. I mean, every game of Hearthstone requires a bit of some form of fortunate draw, a little luck at some points. But you navigated the matchups pretty well. You got the Druid into the Hunter, which was really just what all you could ask for, in a matchup.
Oh, yeah,
I was
that's-
thinking there, when selecting, I figured he wasn't going to bring out the hand buff paladin yet.
No, yeah,
I feel like that would have probably been like a last resort match. So I figured he wants to get a win now. He's probably going to bring Odd Hunter.
Yeah.
I'll just take care of that right now.
Good old Conquest Q order coin
Yeah.
flips. But you
And
won the
hand
coin
buff
flip,
was bad as well.
I did, yeah.
and that's the main thing. So I think it's
GG
congrats
to
on
GG to Hopper as well. That was a lot of fun.
so congrats to you. If you've got any shout outs, make them now before we shoot off because I need to go to bed.
Yeah, this is a call out post to Hyperin. Run Ankar in your Pirate Warrior. It's pretty good.
They don't
Yeah,
run.
there's so much smack talk between. There's been a lot of smack talk between
No, it's fine. He's my captain. I can smack
between
talk
the
him.
between the two teams. No, in general, like between
Yeah.
between Hyperin and pretty much almost the entirety of Rumble Test Shakers has been trash talking for the last couple for a long time this week about that specific game.
THL,
So
please bring back Wild EU. Thank you.
we'll see. Yeah, that all depends on obviously participation possibilities. So we hopefully will have that again one day, so that way you can get back into playing a Wild series. Yeah,
I'd like to, but
Mhm.
at the moment I can only do it if people will let me borrow decks, which
yeah.
can't really happen all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thanks for joining us in City.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for having me
Fish,
on.
for co-casting.
No problem.
Thanks, Wild9 for Oppen. And thanks everyone for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. And when's the next show, Fish?
So I believe there's gonna be Sunday Showdown tomorrow.
Yeah, there's gonna be 2 matches tomorrow: a pro match, I believe, and a hero match, I believe.
Hug. It'll be beautiful.
So look forward to that.
Good night, everybody.
All right, thanks everyone.
I hear you got a problem.
You are not prepared. Another round? Why do you... You are not prepared! You are not!
This guy's toast.
Leroy! Not prepared!
Goodbye.